Hello and welcome to another episode of the Popcorn King Show. I don't know what episode this is, maybe 27 or something. Who's keeping count? Seen a whole bunch of movies over the past week, so I'm going to go through a few reviews of some movies that I've seen, let you know what I think of them. But I'm also going to, as Halloween is very fast approaching, I'm going to give you a list of the 10 best horror films of 2026 so far. Ones that you could potentially watch on Halloween. Because I love horror films. I mean, I love all films, obviously, but horror films are some of the most fun, right? They're some of the most visceral reactions in a good horror film. They make you terrified and they make you laugh, and they can sometimes just be really moving and really thought-provoking. I'm just going to change this lighting a little bit. There we go. As always, there's a movie on in the background. If you know what the movie is, I know it's blurry and my shoulder's a little bit covering it here and there, but if you do know what it is, let me know in the comments below. The first person who comments in the comments below gets 10 points, okay? If they can name the movie. So, right, let's start off with a review of a movie that I personally call Deliver Me From Nowhere. So, Deliver Me From Nowhere is the brand new Jeremy Allen White movie starring Jeremy Allen White. It's actually called Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere. It's the Bruce Springsteen biopic type of movie. So, I'll read the synopsis. On IMDb, Bruce Springsteen's journey crafting his 1982 album Nebraska, which emerged as he recorded Born in the USA with the E Street Band, based on Warren Zane's book. So there we go. That's what it's about. And it is really about that. It's not like here's a whole life of Bruce Springsteen, his rise to fame, and then, you know, like the trials and tribulations of his fame. No, it's literally about him recording this album. And in another sense, it's really mainly about a person dealing with depression, I guess. It's not the most happy film. Bruce Springsteen doesn't smile the most in this film. What did I think of it? I thought, in the end, it was just okay. Like, it was a bit slow. It was kind of moody, and yeah, dealing with someone who's got depression, I guess it's hard to make a super engaging film because the subject matter is quite down. Your main protagonist, he's quite down on himself the whole time, and it's not thrilling really. When you think of, I mean, I'm not a Bruce Springsteen fan. When I think of Bruce Springsteen, I just think of like super, American music. And I know it's probably not that. Like, Born in the USA sounds like a super pro, we are America, like a patriot type of movie. But it's probably not that. It's probably more against nationalism and stuff like that. So I know I've probably got the wrong idea of Bruce Springsteen, is what I'm trying to say. I'm just moving this mic up a little bit. But yeah, I'm not the biggest Springsteen guy. And watching this, I'm probably even less of a Springsteen guy than I was before. There was some interesting parts, like the geeky things about making music, the recording equipment. I love all that stuff. Obviously, I'm a musician. I play music to make a living, and I found that stuff really interesting, and just recording in his room and stuff. But there's something that he does not seem to. I guess there are some artists that are like this, but I never fully love these type of artists, if I'm honest with you, which is a very uncollaborative artist. And now, like I say, they're really focusing on the album Nebraska, which is a very acoustic kind of folk album. It's really just Bruce Springsteen with his guitar and his voice. He recorded in a bedroom, and he just really wants that sort of, I guess, visceral sound that he made in the bedroom to come through on the main record. And it's just not working in the room. And there seems to be no collaboration involved. Now, when I say collaborate, I don't mean give up your vision. Like, if you've got a vision of something amazing, I don't mean give that up. But if something's not working, I feel like a really great artist will be able to ride the waves, you know, ride the ride the obstacles to elevate the material, collaborate with the universe, collaborate with the actual world, like the things at your disposal. I found it kind of annoying when everyone was like, oh, maybe we could, try record it again. Like, we won't be able to make it sound exactly the same, but maybe we could do this and this. And he's just like, no, he's like getting really angry. It's like, it has to be exactly the way that I did it in my bedroom. That's the only way this song could possibly be. And I get that. That sounds kind of, yeah, really cool, like artistic sort of integrity. But in the end, it's like, yeah, but music is like a language, and a language is a communication, and a communication requires at least two entities, right? And yeah, it's a collaboration in the end. All communication is, and therefore, in my opinion, all art is a collaboration in some sense. And if it's just not working, like, roll with the punches, I guess, go with the flow and the energy, and bounce ideas off, and take this and that. And like, the best people that I've ever worked with in my life are the ones who are not too precious about an idea. They're the ones who can very quickly go, okay, that didn't work, let's try this instead. Like, those are the most fun artists to work with. Like, my favorite artist of all time is Jeff Buckley, and he famously would never play a song in the same way twice. He loved the sort of minutia of the differences in every performance and where it can take you, and the moment is always different. The present moment is always different from the past moment and from the future moment. Like, what you've got, all you ever have is the present, and you've got to be present when you're making music and making art. Like, it's all about being present and reactions and stuff like that. And yeah, I just feel like he was just a bit selfish and doggedly trying to create a sound that only he could make in his own bedroom once. And yeah, maybe there is some artistic integrity in that. I don't know, but it wasn't for me. I didn't enjoy watching him do that. I will say the acting by Jeremy Allen White is great. Wonderful, wonderful. I looked at some photos of Bruce Springsteen singing, and like the veins in the neck. Jeremy Allen White managed to act his neck off. Like, he's some of the best neck acting I've ever seen. So yeah, just great acting. Would I recommend this film? I actually probably would not recommend it. I found it mostly boring, unfortunately. But if you like Bruce Springsteen, maybe it's just wonderful. Maybe this is just great. Not really for me, but let me know what you thought in the comments below. Let me know if you can even like name the movie in the background. I'm gonna keep saying that. It's guess it's sort of maybe in the horror genre. Which is good because Halloween's coming up. But yeah, let me know if you can name that movie in the background there on the blurry TV. And if you can, you get 10 points to the first person who types it in the comments below. Let's see who manages to do that. Next, I am doing a review of a movie that I saw at the cinema, even though it's on Netflix now, and this movie is called House of Dynamite. Ladies and gentlemen, House of Dynamite is the brand new Catherine Bigelow movie, starring, who's it starring? That woman who's a very, very great actress, and I can't find her name. For some reason, her name escapes me. There we go, Rebecca Ferguson, Idris Elba, Jared Harris, a lot of non-American actors, to be honest with you. But yeah, what is this film about? Here's the IMDb synopsis. When a single unattributed missile is launched at the United States, a race begins to determine who is responsible and how to respond. So, what did I think of this film? I thought this film was thrilling from the get-go. I was in. Now, Catherine Bigelow is a clinical director, like just laser precision in her directing. She's a bit like Greengrass. Is that his name, Paul Greengrass? I don't know. The one who did Captain Phillips, for example. So Catherine Bigelow did Hurt Locker, Zero Dark 30. She's really good at these sort of governmental war time movies, and she does it in a very Catherine Bigelow way. It always feels like an action film, even when there actually is not that much action happening. And this film is this is a sign of a good director, in my opinion. This film is just people talking in rooms, often just sitting down looking at laptop screens. Most of the film is just that, and it's thrilling. It's absolutely, utterly thrilling, the whole way through. There's a lot of chatter online about the ending. I will go into that. And I will do some spoilers. So if you've seen the film, great. If you haven't, I'll let you know when spoilers are coming up. But yeah, wonderful, wonderful performances. I actually really rated Rebecca Ferguson's performance. It is hard because the film does a narrative non-linear thing where it goes for about half an hour and then it cuts back and then does that same half an hour again from a different perspective and then cuts back, and then it does it 3 times basically, the exact same 20 minutes or half an hour or whatever. So yeah, that is a narrative perspective which was done in Weapons this year, which is one of my favourite films of the year, Weapons. And I think Weapons probably did that a little bit better, a little bit more creatively, interestingly. But this film did it, and I still really enjoyed it. Like, it still managed, for me, it still managed to ramp up the thrill of it. Because I thought, oh, okay, well, we've gone back, I kind of know what's going to happen. At least I know up to a point what's going to happen, and I'm just going to watch it again. But no, it keeps being thrilling. So yes, let me get into some spoilers, if you don't mind. So spoilers starting now. Spoiler warning, spoilers starting now. One of the things that really hit me in this film is the sort of ethical burden that Idris Elba's character, who plays the president of the United States, the ethical burden that this president has. And they have many characters giving different perspectives, but in the end, it's like, okay, president, it's up to you, basically, Mr. President. What are we going to do? So the missile is coming. They've got like 20 minutes. They try to destroy it, but it doesn't work. So they've got like 10 minutes left until it just hits Chicago and kills everyone. So it's like, what are we going to do? Now, the rest of the world, they all have their own satellites, all the other countries, they all know what's happening. So they're all watching, and they're like, okay, America's going to want to retaliate. So Russia thinks, well, America's going to say it's us who have done this missile launch, and they're going to retaliate by throwing missiles back at maybe our submarines. So what we're going to do is, in anticipation, we're going to hide our submarines. We're going to sink them below the surface so that they're too... we can't, they won't be able to catch it on radar. And then North Korea start doing the same thing, and then China starts doing the same thing, and then, you know, this country and that country. So other countries start to react in preparation for America to retaliate. So America are like, well, why are they retaliating? No, I mean, why are they like, why are they hiding their submarines? Well, because if America does fire, firstly, they won't be able to fire at our submarines or whatever. They won't be able to see them, but we'll be able to fire, and they won't know where from. So it's like, America's like, okay, well, this is bad. This is really, really bad. And America, like, someone's trying to phone Russia and like, I promise you, like, please just bring your submarines to the surface, like, as a mutual trust thing. And Russia's like, well, we can't do that. You might blow us up. Like, we can't do that. So it's this really big dilemma. And it's like, okay, so what are we going to do? We either fire now before all of our enemies are able to hide all of their nuclear war submarines and stuff. We fire now and just destroy their ability to continue to fire at us. Even though we don't know who sent this missile, we'll just have to fire at basically everyone and destroy everyone's ability to be able to fire nuclear weapons at us. However, the bad part about that is that you're going to be starting a nuclear World War III if you do that. Now, the other thing you can do is wait and see if the bomb just hits Chicago but malfunctions and doesn't explode, and then we can like work out what to do from there. But it could explode. And if you do nothing, you're going to present yourself as weak to your enemies, and the enemies will just fire again. So it's like, what are we going to do? And they lay up all these arguments, and they just give it to the president. He's got to make that decision. Now, in the film, it's Idris Elba, and everybody in all these different positions very competent. When you're watching it, the real fear, and I haven't had this in a movie before, the fear is that I'm watching this film and I'm like, fuck, the ethical, moral weight on the shoulders of Idris Elba, who's a very competent person in this movie. The fear that engulfed me is that I can't believe that in real life it's Donald Trump who would have to make that decision. I'm pausing for dramatic effect. He would have to be the person that we depend on to be able to contemplate quickly and deeply about all of the different ethical side effects and the sort of moral quandary of it all. It's Donald Trump we've got to depend to be able to do that. He's the one with his finger on the button. And it's just insane. You watch it and you go, no, please, no. And the film just ends. We don't get to see the president's decision. We don't get to see if the bomb hits and explodes or not. The film just sort of ends. Very unsatisfying. A lot of people, it has ruined their experience of the movie for them. Very unsatisfying. No questions answered. It's just question, and end. But obviously it's intentional. And Catherine Bigelow is like, yeah, I don't want people coming away from this film going, oh, what a great resolution to the movie. I need people to walk away feeling like these questions need to be answered before we get into this situation. We need to come up with plans now because we don't know how this is ever going to play out. That's, it wouldn't, I guess it probably wouldn't seem right for everything to be neatly tied up with a ribbon on top and all the questions answered in this film. I think she's really definitely going for, yeah, these are unanswered questions, and that's terrifying. So that's, that it is what it is. I really found the film thrilling. That ending is deeply unsatisfying, but I think it's deliberate and I think it's appropriate. So I recommend this film. It's on Netflix right now. I managed to see it at the cinema, but it's on Netflix right now. So you can just watch this at home right now. Watch it. It's not too long. It flies by. It's like 3 short movies, basically. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. I'd love to hear your perspectives on this. Let me know if you even can recognize the blurry movie in the background. I always like to have a movie on in the background. This is a horror one. Kind of a horror one, I guess, because Halloween is coming up quickly. So if you can name that movie in the comments below, you get 10 points. Okay? 10 whole points to do with whatever you please. Next, I'm doing a review of a little movie that I personally call Roofman. Roofman is the brand new Channing Tatum movie, starring Channing Tatum. This film has got an oddly amazing cast, I have to say. It didn't need to hit this hard. So this film has Channing Tatum, as I said. It's also got Lakeith Stanfield as a very side character. Lakeith Stanfield's an incredible actor, I have to say. He is one of the best of the best. He's so good. We've got Peter Dinklage just being great in this film. He's really, really good. You've got Kirsten Dunst, who is awesome. She's having is she having a resurgence, or has she always been here and I just didn't realize? I feel like she's having a resurgence. She's doing some great stuff. Is it Mendelsohn? Something Mendelsohn is in this. I mean, I'm looking at IMDb and he's not even in the top, the top 20 listed, and he's in it. Is it Ben Mendelsohn? It must be Ben Mendelsohn. He's playing such a small role in this film. It's got Juno Temple, who I love from what's it called? The TV series about football, Ted Lasso. What a great really great cast. I was very surprised to see this cast. What is the film about? Let me tell you, it's a true story. A charismatic criminal, while on the run from the police, hides in a hidden space of a toy store. There, he adopts a new identity and becomes involved with an employee. That's what I'm going to read. This film was a delightful surprise. I have to say, it was very, very charming, good. The audacity of Catch Me If You Can by Steven Spielberg with Leonardo DiCaprio and Tom Hanks, and you're just like, the balls on this guy to just lie effortlessly and just lie his way into these situations and continue the lie. Like, it must take such guts. I hate lying. Like, it just feels like lying is, when you lie, you have to remember so much stuff, right? You've got to remember what things you have said to which people. And you've got to constantly always remember that. It's like just having your life on memory. It's really difficult. Whereas if you don't lie, if you just like commit to telling the truth, the universe just sort of sorts all that stuff out. You don't need to actively remember any of that stuff. It just is the case you told this person this thing and that thing is true, so you don't need to remember it. It's just there. Like, the universe sorts it out. So yeah, I'm just like, this film, the amount of lying he's got to do. So this guy, this true story of this guy who robbed a bunch of McDonald's through the roof. That's why he's called the Roofman. Went to prison, but managed to escape prison, and then he hid in Toys R Us store in the 90s. And yeah, like, it's just it's really, really funny. It's kind of funny. There's lots of naked Channing Tatum, if you like Channing Tatum. He plays this really kind guy as well, which is, I guess, the charming part of it is that, and this is also apparently true, like the victim's account is that this guy, even though he like robbed us at gunpoint, was so like caring and kind and would like make sure we've got jackets and jumpers when he puts us in the freezer and stuff because we're going to be cold. And like, they only ever, like, all his victims only ever had really nice stuff to say about him. And Channing Tatum, I guess, is the right person for that, because he's just sort of likable in like a dumb kind of way. And they say that about him. He's like, yeah, he's like just really, really clever and kind, but also just really dumb. And it's like, yeah, Channing Tatum really suits that, I have to say. So I really liked this film. I thought it was really good. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. Like, I looked it up. I had to look it up, and I was like, yeah, this is pretty much true to all the information I could find out online. The film really just lays out all the real stuff that happened. And all the, like, he started joining this local church and dating this woman and pretending he worked for the government and things like that. And it's just great. Like, it's just funny. The audacity is just gobsmacking to me. But let me know what you thought in the comments below. Let me know if you recognize the movie in the background. It's a horror movie because Halloween is quickly coming. So just type the name of that film in the comments and you will get 10 points. You will literally get 10 points. And think of all the things you can do with 10 whole points. Next, I'm doing a review of another movie that I saw at the cinema, and this movie is called Frankenstein or Frankenstein. This is the new Guillermo del Toro movie, starring Oscar Isaac, Jacob Elordi, Christoph Waltz, Mia Goth. Good cast, really good cast. Obviously, Guillermo. I always struggle with that first name. Guillermo del Toro. His fascination with creatures, like, it's what he does best, right? Shape of Water, just an outstanding film. Pan's Labyrinth, one of my absolute favorites, just so good. And then this film. So, what did I think of this one, Frankenstein? I thought it was very enjoyable. I watched it and I was like, this is enjoyable. There's an element of flashback about it, which I always have a little bit of a problem with a flashback type of story, because know who hasn't survived. Like, I'm sorry, but that's just too much of a. It's too much of a spoiler for me when I'm watching a film. So, for example, Titanic. Right? Obviously, I know Titanic sinks, so I can't ever complain about that as a spoiler. But it's told from the perspective of Rose, right? Rose, who is the main character. And so she's an old lady. So the whole film is a flashback. So I know she doesn't die. And I don't know, maybe I'm crazy for having this point of view, but it just, there's a slight percentage taken away of a thrill, I guess, whenever she's in a situation where she could die, because I'm like, well, she won't, right? Because we see her as an old lady. Like, there's a bit where she's about to commit suicide and jump off, and Leonardo DiCaprio comes and, like, talks her down. But it's like, yeah, obviously. And then she slips and he catches her. It's like, oh my God, is she going to die? No, she's not, because she's telling the story. So, and I feel that way about everything that does sort of flashbacky things. It just bugs. It's a bugbear of mine. I really don't like flashbacky things, I have to say. I'm sorry, I don't like them. And so Frankenstein has an element of flashbackiness about it, which, yeah, I don't like it. Okay, I just put my hands up. I do not like that. But I get over it. I can still enjoy the movie, even though if it's flashbacky, obviously. But this one was maybe a little bit too long, because maybe spoiler alert. Spoiler alert, just in case you don't know the story of Frankenstein, one of the most famous stories ever told. It's told from the perspective of Victor Frankenstein. And you're like, okay, it's this huge flashback. So he's in the middle of, like, this icy, is it North Pole? Maybe the North Pole area. And this ship that's sort of frozen in the ice, and all the men on the ship are trying to, like, free the ship from the ice. They find Victor Frankenstein, and they get attacked by the monster, and they manage to fend off Frankenstein's monster, and they bring Victor Frankenstein onto the ship, and he just tells the whole story. And it's about him trying to make a body come to life. And yeah, you watch it all and you're like, okay, long flashback, and then we're gonna make our way through the story. But then the monster gets back onto the ship, and we're like an hour and a half in, I reckon, at this point. It feels like we're a long way into the movie. And then Frankenstein goes, oh, you've heard his story, now let me tell you mine. I mean, Frankenstein's monster says, you've heard Victor Frankenstein's story, now let me tell you mine. And I'm like, oh, another long flashback now, where obviously he's not going to die, because he's here telling the story. So we have two long flashbacks. Like, the film is just two halves, basically, and it's two long flashbacks of two characters that I know aren't going to die. So yeah, that puts me off, I have to say. It brings down movies for me. It brings down stories for me. Don't do flashbacks anymore, please, movies. And also it made the film a bit too long. I must say, it's too long. It was too long. But it was still enjoyable in the Guillermo del Toro way. It was still just, I guess, engaging, scary, a bit horrific, in like a quirky kind of Guillermo way. Maybe there was a kind of a Netflix sheen to it, a Netflix shininess about it, which, Pan's Labyrinth, for example, doesn't have. But that didn't take away from the movie. I still found the movie really enjoyable. I was engaged, and I was gripped, and I was like, this is great. Even though I know the character's not going to die at this moment because we're in a flashback, but it's still really good. But I did have a thought. This has got nothing to do with, like, the making of the movie at all. It's just my thought about the storyline, which is Victor Frankenstein goes through this huge ordeal to bring about life, right? And half the movie is about this, getting funding, finding bodies, body parts, sewing them together, and then like eventually like a flash of lightning comes down and the monster is born, and it's basically a baby at this point because it can't really talk or anything, so it's got to learn. And then I'm like, okay, you created the life, but I don't know why this is amazing, because we humans can do this. That's called having sex and then giving birth to a baby, and then you bring the baby up. Like, I was watching it, I was like going, what is the point of this? Humans can quite capably do this already. I don't know why you're putting so much effort into creating a life. Like, it's not like Frankenstein's brain can remember the life of the dead body that he got the brain from in the past. It's like a brand new brain that's learning new things, really. It's learning the word Victor. It's learning the word Elizabeth and things like that. It's a baby just learning new things. And you're like, well, when I watched it, I was a bit like, well, what's the actual point of this scientific endeavor? We can make babies. Lots of people have sex and have babies. Loads of people do that. Like, the thing that you've managed to do is a thing that we can do naturally, easily. You know? So yeah, I was watching it. I was like, okay, this is good. This is kind of scary. But yeah, what a waste of your life. Like, you spent your whole life trying to do this where you could have just had a baby, and it's the same thing. You've created a life and then you bring it up. But yeah, that's just my thoughts on Frankenstein. I don't know, maybe I missed something. Is there something else that he thought was going to happen? Like, was he going to create... I don't know what he thought he was going to create, but yeah, it's just a human, basically, that you've made. A new human with a brain, which is what we do. So yeah, that's just my thoughts on it. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. Again, see if you can name the movie in the background, the blurry movie on my TV in the background. It's a horror movie, just in time for Halloween. And speaking of horror movies, the next part, the last part of this show, I'm going to give to you my top 10 horror movies of 2026 so far that you can watch on Halloween. What a snappy title. So, I love horror films. There's been a few good ones this year. There's probably going to be more. There's some I haven't even seen. Like, is it Good Boy, the dog? The horror movie from the perspective of a dog? Like a haunted house horror movie just from the perspective of a dog. I really want to see that, but I never get a chance. So I've got 10 for you to watch that you can watch. Literally, you can watch at Halloween somewhere. I'm sure there's somewhere. There's been some incredible ones. There's been some mid ones. There's been some awful ones as well. Obviously, it's the horror genre. It's rife for awful movies, just as it is for good ones. I wasn't really a big fan of the new Conjuring movie, Last Rites. Didn't really like I Know What You Did Last Summer. That just wasn't for me. Some people really liked Heart Eyes. I didn't rate it too much, but I do have 10 films, which technically in the horror genre, that I think you would have a really good time watching these on Halloween. These all came out this year. 2026, another great year for horrors. So, at number 10, there was a little movie called The Drop. So The Drop was a movie about a lady who goes on a date, and she gets a text message saying, "You're in this building, I need you to kill someone or I'm going to kill your family. You're in this restaurant, at the restaurant, you've got to do this or I'll kill your family." And it's basically just about that, and it's all basically set in a restaurant, and yeah, a fun, thrillery horror movie, gory, bloody, but also just a good sort of mystery. Like, who is the person that's messaging me? They can obviously see me. They must be in this room somewhere. And yeah, fun. I found it fun. Just a fun horror film. Creepy, scary, and thrilling as well. Like some thrilling ending as well. Really, really good. At number 9, you could also watch The Monkey, which is that movie with the monkey bashing the cymbals and people just die in these ridiculously funny, gruesome ways if the monkey like decides that you're gonna die. Again, just kind of over the top silliness, but the over the top silliness in a good way for these horror movies. Some people maybe didn't like this next one as much as me, but I thought it was good. I really enjoyed Wolfman. Wolfman with is it Garner? Something Garner in that film? A fun movie made by is it the same team that did Invisible Man? Hollow Man, or whatever it's called. But yeah, Wolfman, they had a really fun effect of the wolf, the guy turning into the wolf, slowly not being able to understand, I guess, English anymore, as he slowly turns into an animal. Really a fun movie, creeped me out, lots of shocking moments. Don't want to go into a cabin in the woods myself forever, really. I'm going to stay in the city where it's safe. I'm going to stay in London, the knife crime capital of the world, where it's nice and safe. Thank you very much. And now the rest, from 6 up to 1, I actually really liked all of these movies. So 6, in my opinion, sorry, my phone was just dinging. 6, in my opinion, 28 years later was fun. That was a good one for me. And an insane ending. Like, there's some scenes that stick in my mind this year. One of my absolute favorites is at the end of this film, spoiler alert if you haven't seen it, and again, it doesn't really hinge on the storyline at all, but basically Jimmy Savile comes, and if you don't know Jimmy Savile, look him up. He is as evil gets, I guess, in this world. He's an English TV personality who is just evil, basically. And he somehow kind of shows up at the end of this movie, or at the very least, people who love Jimmy Savile and want to dress up like Jimmy Savile show up. Weird ending, but again, like the film is good. It's very British. It's raw. It's more dirty than an American zombie film, I guess. At number 5, this film was incredible. It's Final Destination Bloodlines. If you like the Final Destination films, the whimsiness of it all, you will love this. It's probably the best Final Destination out of all of the Final Destinations. Some of the deaths are top tier horror movie deaths. Top tier. Seriously, watch this film. You'll really like it. At number 4, for me personally, I really like this one. Bit more of an indie vibe. I've got Together. Basically a two-hander. Just two people who really depend on each other. Maybe a little too much, and I guess it's an allegory for being too codependent on somebody, because they start to get stuck together. It's a real body horror kind of icky movie. You're like, ugh, I don't want to watch this. This is horrible. And like they get stuck together in all of the ways. It like the sickest part of your brain where you go, oh, imagine they got stuck together this way. It does those things. Like, it does all the sick parts of what you can imagine. And you're like, so I loved it. It was just viscerally, like, ridiculously disgusting. Kind of funny in a weird way. And wonderfully acted. At 3, this film should arguably be number 1 in terms of maybe the most scary and most horrific. Which is not my favourite. But Bring Her Back. Holy hell. There are some scenes in Bring Her Back, like a little kid chomping on a knife. Oh, like I think about that often. And I'm like, that film makes you feel horrific. Like, it does what a horror movie is supposed to do, which is it's horrifically horrible. You come out of that film going, why do I like horror? That was horrible. But I fucking love it, I have to say. Now, number 2 is, of course, one of the best movies of the whole year, which is Sinners, a vampire movie, technically horror vampire film, and just wonderful filmmaking, gory, bloody, but with like this musical aspect to it, beautifully shot. I kind of thinking this might win the Oscar next year for Best Movie. Just incredible filmmaking, and there's a scene in the middle. I've said this multiple times. Might be the best scene of the year, it might be the best scene of the decade actually, which is just the scene where he's playing in the new sort of club that they've opened up. He's playing the music, and it just transcends time and space momentarily for a scene. Just wonderful, wonderful. And when it needs to get bloody and gory, it goes there, trust me. And now, number one, you've probably guessed it. Of course, if you can see any film at Halloween this year, I would recommend. My number one recommendation would be Weapons. Weapons is a wonderful, wonderful film. It's terrifying. It's creative. It's interesting. You feel like, I've not seen this story before. Most other films, they're just versions of stories we've seen before. But Weapons is something that I'm like, I've not seen this story before. I am intrigued. I'm kind of laughing at the moments they want me to laugh at. I'm terrified at the moments they want me to be terrified at. There's moments where you're going to gasp. You're just going to have the best time watching this film. It's a great mystery horror movie that just has it's got witches in it, and it's great. It's just wonderful. Like, I recommend that film more so than any other film I've ever recommended in the past year. What's the film on in the background? That's also a horror film. Maybe that's one you could watch. That's not out this year, but one of my absolute favorites. Really, really good. If you can name it in the comments below. Maybe there's a horror film that I've missed off this year. Name that in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I would just bloody love to hear it. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you next time. And let's all just be spooky this Halloween. Real spooky.